Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unit Masters. We're in cohort 7 now of our 6 weeks blockchain literacy program. We are now in week 2, and we are still looking at the ecosystem from a bird's perspective. So what actually makes the blockchain ecosystem? Who are different stakeholders and players? On Tuesday, we had an investor sharing their perspective of how to assess the crypto markets. And today we have one of the service providers, and this is a Ramp.network, Andrzej from a Ramp.network, and what they do is, and you will share with us in more detail, how can you actually bridge like your fiat currency into digital assets on a short note. So typically when you want to buy something and so on, you need to pay with cryptocurrency. There is some service behind that offers that possibility for you to tap into the digital world. And he's explaining to us how that in general works, and then can also answer any technical questions that you may have, because Andrzej has an engineering background. And now the stage is over to you to share with us what you find important to know about this industry.
Sure. Hi everybody. Nice to be here. Thank you for the introduction. My name is Andrzej Wodkiewicz, and currently I'm the technical product manager at Ramp. And yes, I do have a technical background, so I'll be glad to answer any more technical related questions, but I'll try my best to answer also those related more to finance or the general understanding of the business. So a little bit about me. I started working in Ramp 2 years ago after I finished my Bachelor of Engineering and in computer science. And my engineering thesis was actually on blockchain. This was the first moment where I was introduced into that space. And I figure out, well, while I'm researching that, why not create a bachelor thesis around that? So what I did back then was a really basic application around voting, I guess, like most of the first blockchain related applications. But what was interesting to me back then were the like general implications around the distribution of the cryptocurrency, about the different players around the globe which are participating in the networks. So I decided to dig deeper, and around the time I also found this company called Ramp. And they were looking for a software engineer back then, and here I am now. So what we do with Ramp is we have a mission to help people participate in Web3, and we are onboarding users from fiat money to the crypto assets world. And the way we do it is we have an application which allows you to pay fiat money and exchange that into any of the supported crypto assets that we have at the moment. And obviously the devil is in the details. So I wanted to briefly explain some differences around the on-ramp applications such as our company and others, because we do have competitors. It's not like we are the only company which does this, but also explain the difference between on-ramps such as us and centralized exchanges, and also decentralized exchanges as well, if you're interested, which is something different, but maybe this is actually a good place to speak about those differences, why centralized and decentralized exchanges are not that similar.
Yay, No. That's good when you explain also like very in your understanding what's the main difference between centralized exchange, decentralized exchange, so that we start on the same level of knowledge before we dive deeper into then the different on-ramp methods in the market.
Sure. So you probably know some of the big players, the big centralized exchanges, which are, just to name a few, Binance, Coinbase, Bittrex, Kraken, and I guess many more. And the difference between a centralized exchange and our app is that the centralized exchanges are harder to use because the onboarding process takes much longer. There are many different steps that you have to go through until you finally reach to the point where you can buy a cryptocurrency. And that includes providing all the legal information, such as your address, maybe some documents, maybe some confirmations, some bank statements, and etc. And it might take a long time. Also, activating an account also could take long. So the company I work with is I work in is thought about this from a UX perspective. So how to make this as easy as it gets for the people. So when using Ramp, for example, or any other on-ramp solution, but from my experience, I can tell you what Ramp is doing. We try to strip the whole process of as many unnecessary steps as possible. For example, we also, being an official registered company with the FCA in the UK, need to provide some level of, for example, KYC or AML, but it's not that we have to do the whole process for everybody from the start, right? We can postpone some of the processes. We can make them more automated. This is what we do. Also, the other main difference between a centralized exchange and an on-ramp is that you have to remember that centralized exchange owns all the assets that you have on your account. So, for example, when you deposit some money into a centralized exchange, and then buy some cryptocurrency, exchange it with some other cryptocurrencies, you have some portfolio on your account. You log in, you see the numbers. As long as those numbers are visible on your screen in the centralized exchange, they are not yours. Obviously, the terms of service and the whole business is around that this is your account. But technically, from the blockchain perspective, the centralized exchange wallet has your assets. You only are displayed the numbers on the screen. Now, when we're talking about on-ramp systems, is that you can start with your own wallet, whether it's a hardware wallet, for example, Ledger, or an in-browser wallet, as MetaMask, or mobile wallet. You own your crypto. So when you open the app, you can just paste the address, and when you finalize the whole payment process, the cryptocurrencies are sent to you directly. and at that point you own the money, the crypto assets you purchased. And I believe that people might see those two as two different use cases, as I do. For example, if you plan on exchanging different assets for financial incentives, like on a regular stock exchange or like on the Forex, then a centralized exchange is probably the place to go, because it will be quite easy to click through the options to buy, swap some crypto assets. But we might remember you do it all in the context of the centralized exchange. The crypto assets never leave your own account, or they do not or they're not delivered to you in any way, technically. Now the Ramp main use case is to be integrated into other applications. So you can imagine a game where the participants of this game, the players, have some kind of blockchain wallets within the game, and they can pay for some goods there. But in order for them to top up their wallets, they need some way to send the cryptocurrencies. So with a centralized exchange, they could register there, create a new account, get verified, find the particular asset that they actually want, because, for example, this game only accepts a particular cryptocurrency, and then purchase it on the centralized exchange and send it to the exact wallet that is in the game, connected to your game account. If the game implemented an on-ramp app within itself, the user flow is much simpler. You just click on a button within the game, a new window is displayed, and you can just finish your payment process as if it would be a simple checkout process, like in eBay or PayPal or something like that. You do not have to know which cryptocurrency you actually need. You do not have to know what is your address, what is your crypto address within that game, because the game developers can provide this information within the integration with an on-ramp. So what the user actually needs to do is just pay for the goods, and that is much easier, and that is much more seamless experience for all the users of such applications. Also, wallets, mobile wallets. There is always an option to top up your balance with fiat money, and usually we have some on-ramp systems as well, which allow you to just click through in 3 or 4 steps and have the cryptocurrency delivered to the same wallet you are currently using. And that is much more easier, and that is, I think, this is the way to go with the adoption of cryptocurrencies, because creating a wallet, managing all this, sometimes it's not easy, especially when you do not care about holding a cryptocurrency, but it's just a part of some ecosystem that you want to participate in, for example, games, and an on-ramp system like this can be easily fit into the whole system without the users noticing they're doing some very complex operation underneath.
Yeah, you want to share more about the complex underneath operations? Like, if I have euros now and I want to pay in Axis, whatever, to participate in Axie Affinity, what actually happens on the back end? How does my money get converted, and who's responsible for what, and where is it stored along the way? Like, how does this entire operations flow work?
Right. So this part is not that complex. Actually, what happens is that the money is sent to our company bank accounts or via card payments. And while receiving the money, we can issue a transaction. So in this particular window of what's happening is not that complicated. Although we researched something else with smart contracts and escrows. But at the moment that we were doing this, the network fees on Ethereum were just too high for the users to be willing to participate in something like this. This was a little bit more complicated, as in the money was first sent to an escrow and then released to the user, so that the participants could see that the money is actually there. But now we simply do regular blockchain transfers on as many blockchains that as we support at the moment. And yeah, I see a question about the impact on the collateralized stablecoins, such as yours. Okay, so yeah, we do not have any tokens at the moment. So if you see Ramp tokens, they're not related to our company in any way, which is, I think, important. I think there was a clash of names. We are not confirming or denying any future tokens. I think that maybe in the future, where we find no worries. Lots of people from time to time ask about our token, but we have to inform them that Ramp token is not related to Ramp company. But yeah, I think good segue to having a token. So we think that maybe in the future, where there is a need for governance tokens, we'll think of that. But at the moment, we are not looking for any ICO related things. So we are not participating in this area. But who knows about the DAOs and governance tokens in the future? Maybe this will change. Maybe we will have another. Maybe there will be a second Ramp token in the crypto space. Now, just wanted to tackle the decentralized exchange bit, because centralized and decentralized exchanges are sometimes confused, but like I said earlier, they are totally different things. Because decentralized exchange works only within the crypto space. So if you want to exchange one asset into another, one crypto asset into another crypto asset, decentralized exchange is the way to go. There are many decentralized exchanges, such as Uniswap, 1inch, PowerSwap, many more, and they are operating within the blockchain. So the whole the whole exchanging process is written on the blockchain within the smart contracts. I think this is quite complicated part. I wasn't writing any of such exchanging features on smart contracts myself. But yeah, you definitely do not need any account or registration. You just need your wallet to be able to use the decentralized exchange. But you need to remember it's only within the crypto space, so there won't be any options to send fiat or receive fiat back. I'm reading another question. Is it also easy to offer on cryptos the fiat system? What are the fees you charge to do this? How do we make money? Is it like currency exchange bureau? So an off-ramp system is not so easy. We're currently working on it. It's in the works. There are some technical difficulties, like, for example, how to be sure that a person who sends the cryptocurrencies is the very same person you want to send the money to, the fiat money, right? Because from a regulatory perspective, this is something very important, and so there are some difficulties related to that. Also, how do you know that this particular transaction was the transaction you were expecting and not some other transfer? Because it's easier in the fiat world to send just a memo or a description within the bank transfer, but for some blockchains it's impossible or very hard or very expensive to do it. So yeah, there are lots of difficulties like that. But I believe there are also legal obstacles that you have to take care of. But I'm not a part of the legal team here, so I won't continue talking about that. And yeah, what are the fees you charge to do this? I mean, you can take a look at our website right now. It's not hidden anywhere. It depends on the payment method, and it depends on the blockchain and token you want to buy. Because based on the network fees within the blockchain, it might be more costly. For example, on the Ethereum layer 1 the blockchain, it will be much more expensive than to buy some assets on, for example, Polygon or ZK Sync solution. Yeah, going to the next question. How do you protect yourself from FX volatility between, say, USD and fiat cryptocurrency if you make it invisible to the user? So right now we inform the users that the final calculation will be processed the moment we receive the fiat, right? So we base the calculation on the price, on the crypto price at the moment we receive the money. So I think that should answer the question.
How fast does it actually go? Is it like a matter of 2 minutes, or is it a matter of 2-3 days?
Depends. If you choose an open banking solution, for example, if you use Revolut or a card payment, you can get it as quickly as in 30 seconds. But if you choose to use a wire transfer and send the money using a simple bank transfer, then yeah, it can go 2 days. Now we also have SEPA Instant within the Eurozone. So if your bank has that, I think it's very quick, if not instantaneous. Even the bank transfers. So yeah, it can be as quick as 30 seconds. So you shouldn't be worried about the volatility here.
Okay. Follow-up question to that: why is open banking so much faster than wire, like simple bank wire?
It's related to the. I mean, I think it's all in the open banking initiative, the PSD2 initiative. I don't know if that's the right word, but the banks, European banks, were obliged to participate in that, and the open banking system works in this way that if a party like us is regulated and has the is allowed to perform transfers on behalf of a user, you can simply log into your account during the checkout process, and we go directly to the bank and say, okay, we want to transfer this and this amount of money to some other account, and you as a user accept to this at the end. Now the two levels of the confirmation process, you can get notified from that bank that the transfer was scheduled, and for some banks it automatically means that the money was already sent. For some banks it means that it will be sent in a couple of minutes. So we have to be careful here and know which banks work in what ways, but I think UK banks are better in terms of the pace of processing and the faster payments. This whole initiative is quite quick. But so it's definitely quicker from the user's perspective, as in you do not have to log into your account, you just follow the flow on the same page. But also, depending on the bank you're using, it's more likely that the newer banks will be quicker to process all that stuff. But I think it's a question more related to the banking systems themselves and to the bank themselves. Why can they process some of the transfer faster than others?
Okay. I guess maybe let's switch frames a little bit, because you also come here as an engineer, a blockchain engineer. So maybe you can share with us, like, you know, how does an everyday life at work for a blockchain engineer look like? What's special? How is the environment? What's your personal impressions, having worked there for like more than 2 years now?
It's a very rapid environment. That's for sure. It's very interesting to be here at this point in time, where I see all those Web3 projects emerging, and being closer to the low-level stuff means that I get to see more like I can try to predict some things. Maybe prediction is too big of a word here, but it's interesting to see competing projects, competing blockchains, to see the volumes, to see the interest of other parties, of other companies, wallets, games, etc. And see how it changes in time. And I think it's very rewarding to participate in that. and to be able to say in the future that yes, I was one of the guys that helped building the whole environment, even if it's just a very negligible part. Then I think it gives me some right to say that I was there when it happened.
Yes, you were there right from almost the beginning. And question also, what kind of predictions or maybe trends are you seeing? How do you look at the market being one of the builders?
From a couple of months, we see an increased interest in layer 2 solutions, which shouldn't be that surprising given the current network fees on Ethereum. But earlier it used to be that the side chains were more popular. Now the proper L2 solutions are getting more tractions. I think it's because most of them matured, if not started recently. That's why it was impossible earlier. But yeah, it's the main technical difference between a side chain and an L2 solution is that a side chain is just a regular blockchain sitting next to the Ethereum chain, and not like the operations on this other chain are not verified in any way with the regular Ethereum blockchain, which is I mean, good enough for most people. There are bridges that let you move the assets between the chains. And usually the side chains are there just to minimize the network fees. L2 solutions are more complex because they are mathematically, cryptographically hard to understand for many people, including myself. But the idea is that all the information about the transactions that happen on this other layer are verifiable with the data which is posted on the Ethereum blockchain. So many people say that it's definitely a safer solution, because if the owners of the other chain or other layer decided to do something nefarious, you could verify the state of what it actually should look like using the regular Ethereum blockchain. Talking about L2s here. While with side chains, it won't be that easy, if not impossible. So going back to the original question, I think that layer 2 solutions are getting more tractions. Getting more traction. Also NFTs, but that's really I don't know, maybe obvious for some, maybe not, but the NFTs really got bigger this year, and I personally want to know more about the decentralized organizations, because they are emerging as well.
Yes, we're going to hear a talk about decentralized autonomous organizations with Willie next Thursday. And then what are kind of, big challenges you see in the ecosystem? What problems does the ecosystem still need to solve in order to become a mainstream, if ever?
I think the onboarding process is very, very difficult. It's not easy for non-technical people, or even for technical people but not related to blockchain in any way, to understand how to start with the wallets, with the first cryptocurrencies. How can they get those? So there are problems within the UX of all the solutions. When you are already inside, it sometimes might be easier, but also even then, accepting or making an exchange transaction on a decentralized exchange can take like 2 or 3 confirmations on your hardware wallet or in MetaMask. And some people do not understand why is that. I mean, what's the rationale behind 3 separate transactions or 2 different transactions? And unfortunately, this could be explained better, and I hope this will change in the future. And the other technical problem or challenge is definitely the scalability and lowering the gas fees of the original Ethereum. But I think the new layer 2 solutions and new sidechains will help with that by just moving a fraction of the user base onto their own solutions. So I'm really interested to see how those independent solutions will work with each other. Because if we want to create some kind of buzzword metaverse, it's really interesting. How can you make people transfer or acknowledge the goods they have on very different technical solutions, very different blockchains within some space, some metaverse game or a system. So unifying all of that will also be very interesting and definitely challenging.
Yeah, I think it gives the engineers, a few good nudges in how to think interoperability, and then people need to build the solutions to solve the problem, right? It's not product driven, it will be market driven. We have a question here from Dennis who asked, what's your view on Bitcoin in the next 3 to 5 years? Will it still be number 1?
Will it be the number 1? I don't know, maybe. Hard for me to say. I'm not good in financial analysis and whatnot, but definitely it's interesting to see the Bitcoin as the original cryptocurrency, even if it wasn't the first when you look at the history of the cryptocurrencies, but it's seen as the original cryptocurrency. So yeah, I think it will still have some traction. I guess it will be fairly high on the ranking, if not the first. But yeah, it's interesting because it might be the case that, for example, many different competing blockchains will dilute the rest of the ranking, right? So maybe Bitcoin will be the first cryptocurrency after all, but because all the other projects were separated equally into other parts. So that's interesting.
Yeah, I think the last question here is looking at the ecosystem from a service provider. What, in your view, because you're working with the different protocols to integrate them into your solutions, right? How can you tell which team is working, like what product is a solid product? What can you gain in terms of a meta analysis, being the one who works with all the different ones at the same time? How do you actually choose which ones to integrate or not? I'm sure there's more demand for integration than you guys have resources to integrate all the projects.
Yeah, that's unfortunately that's true. We're trying to change that, but yeah. It's I mean, we choose the project based on their based on our integrators' needs, based on the traction within the crypto space. So yeah, it would be great if we were able to integrate every project that we see, but also you have to keep in mind we have to maintain every connection to every blockchain, and since it's so very quick and rapidly changing, the more connections with other blockchains you have, the more trouble you have trying to have everything stable. So so we need to choose carefully, and but we let the market, sales and marketing teams decide what is the best in terms of the volumes and like financially what's the most reasonable thing to do. Whereas my team takes a look at is it feasible to do it, to develop the solution, and talking about different chains, and yeah, it's really important to have the developer tools in place, because sometimes there can be projects where everything looks fine, but it's when you dig deeper, there are some parts missing, and it makes the whole integration process really hard. Also, you need to find liquidity on those blockchains or particular tokens you want to provide. So there are lots of different aspects of choosing the proper thing to integrate.
And from a tech perspective, like, what can you say in terms of clustering the different styles these bigger blockchain projects work? Can you see any distinct differences?
Our operation is not that complex when it comes to operating within a blockchain, because basically what we do, we transfer the cryptocurrencies. We do not participate in the very complex projects, right? So from my perspective, like the simpler the better. We especially like the EVM compatible chains. So every blockchain which is very related to Ethereum is easy for us to understand and integrate, because there is a lot of tooling around Ethereum. And when it comes to some new chains, new layer 2 solutions, new projects like these, we have to rely on the tooling the very same team that does the original project provides. And that's sometimes, I mean, the quality of that tooling may vary between projects. So from our perspective, like from day-to-day operations, from a typical day of an engineer, when it comes to sitting in front of the computer and trying to write some code, this is a major issue when there is no documentation around the project, or there are some basic tools missing. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing some valuable insights with us here. We have time now for a few minutes of breakout room networking, and I'm just opening up like the breakout rooms, and then you guys can join in, stay for a few minutes, and then we come together to close that session all together. So it should open up, and then you will be put into some rooms. Okay, Andrew, it's the time to give us the wrap up of the key takeaways you want us, like, for the key insights you want us to take away from the session. Maybe one or two.
Sure. Onboarding people to cryptocurrencies is important, and that's why we need more on-ramps to help people with that. And we, as in the crypto space, should make this process as easy as it's possible, and hide all the technicalities underneath, if that's possible. As I said earlier, it's good to know the differences between the centralized exchanges, on-ramps, and decentralized exchanges. Just to sum it up quickly, centralized exchanges look and feel like a stockbroker, like Forex. On-ramp makes you quickly buy the crypto to your own wallet, you own. And decentralized exchanges essentially are complex products that live on-chain and help you exchange cryptocurrencies within the blockchain, leaving fiat money out of the system.
Well, thanks so much for being with us. Thank you everyone for joining the discussion, and hope to see you again next Tuesday. We'll have a session on blockchain incentive alignment and security systems, and on Thursday about DAO governance, decentralized autonomous organizations. In the meantime, please have a look at the online portal, do the assignments, meet in your study groups, and ask any questions you may have in the Telegram chat. See you soon. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.